Okay, so now we're to the chorus in Paradise City, and the good news is we already know it. It is the same riff that we did at the beginning of the song to intro the heavy distortion guitar parts. All right. So the reason I wanted to do this right before the solo is the solo comes in after the second chorus, and this has a little bit different ending, very, very slightly different ending. And all we do is we go through the same chords, but instead of strumming on that last G, the last chord in the second chorus, instead of just playing that G and letting it ring like we did before, we do this. That kind of takes us into the solo. So that's it's a quick little, just kind of abrupt thing. The drums hit hit that rhythm as well, and it's just 3 on the 6th string and 1. Okay, and then that takes us into the solo. Here's the first section of the solo. Now that whole section has kind of an octave divider on it, like an octave pedal on it. So if you have one of those, just tick it in and have it do a lower octave with you with this note, and then that'll recreate that sound. But this is what he's physically at least doing on the guitar. So we're going to start this phrase with a slight bend at the 3rd fret on the D string, and then you play 5th fret. Then, so after this, we have 3 on the G string, then 5, 3 on the D string, down to the 5 on the A string. All right. So that little phrase right there coming next is a little slight bend that you kill on the 5th fret on the G string. Then the 3rd fret, same thing, a little slight bend that you kind of kill halfway in through the bend just by releasing the pressure. And then the 5th fret on the D string. So we have this. All right, then we do a pre-bend. Half step pre-bent on the 5th fret, pull, release and pull off to the 3rd fret on this all happening on the G string here. And then a whole step bend back up. Then you're going to pick 3 and 6, and then pick 6 again, but replace that 3rd finger with the pinky with your 3rd finger. Then reach your pinky here and hit the 6 on the 1st string. And then do a bend and release again at the 5th fret on the G string. So we have this. Then we're going to have this little line that finishes it, which is just a hammer from 3 to 4. On the G string, reach over and grab the 3rd fret on the high E string, 1st string, and then slide up to the 8th fret with your 3rd finger on the 2nd string. So all together. All right, now we have this cool line. And all that is a bend here. Whole step bend at the 8th fret, 2nd string. Then go 5, 8 on the high E string. Then do a pre-bend, whole step bend on that same 8 on the 2nd string. And pick it and release, and then pick 5, 8 on the 2nd string. So all together we have Then we're basically going to do the same lick, but with on different strings. So the fingerings are going to be a little bit different. The frets are going to be slightly different. Hold step bend at the 7th fret on the G string. Pick 5/8 on the 2nd. Then pre-bend at 7. And then pick 5/7. So you can see how they're both the same lick. Okay, you don't go back to that 7 yet. Sorry. After this, doing that pre-bend, release it, pick 5 of the G string, then come down to 7 on the 4th string. And then we're going to start this little pentatonic kind of blues run. And that's just 7/5 on the G, then 7/5 on the D string, then 7/6/5 on the A string. Kind of muted sounding, and then shift down to the 3rd fret on the 5th string there with your 1st finger. Then come back to the 5th fret with your 3rd finger, and that's a quick half step bend and release. Pull off the 3, then play to 5 on the 6th string. All right, then we have some double stop bends. Play 5 on the 2nd and 3rd string together, and then do a quick little rake upwards with a bar. Hold the 3rd fret across this 2nd, 1st, and 3rd strings. So you pick those notes, those 2 notes, and then do that little rake back across those notes at the 3rd fret, then back to the 5s. So this is kind of going to resolve there on that note, the 3rd string at the 5th fret. Then we have this phrase. Which I'm sure you're familiar with. So this is going to be up here. We're going to have at the 10th fret here, hammer from 10 to 11 on the G string with your 1st and 2nd fingers. Then reach over and grab 10 on the 1st string. Then we're going to come back and hit 12 on the 3rd string. And then you're going to do that phrase again. So basically we have this. We have 11 hammered onto 10, of 10 hammering onto 11. Then grab that 10 on the 1st string. Okay? We're basically going to do that twice. But in between the two, we're going to put the 12th fret on the 3rd string in there. So we have those 3 notes. Then there's that 12, and then those 3 notes again. All right, so it's an easier way of understanding that lick. Okay, then repeat it again. So we did it twice there at the 10th fret. Now take and do the exact same pattern here at the 8th fret. Pretty simple. Then back up. Back down. Back to the 10th fret. Back to the 8th. Back to the 10th. Back to the 8th. Just do it the last time here, going down to the 8. You only do the pattern once. And then shift down 2 more frets to the 6th fret. And just do a hammer from 6 to 7. And then hold the 2 6s of the 1st and 2nd string. Hit those together. So we have this. All right? Then it goes back into, that's basically the end of the solo, but we have this little harmony section over this. This is like the 4th verse in the song, and there's a little harmony guitar part over it. The actual line, the main lick, is still going, the main rhythm, and then we have another guitar player doing this. So it's going to be kind of the same that we've done before. We have 4, 2, 3, 2. This is on the 3rd string. Then 2, 3, 2 again. And when we get to this final one, you're probably used to that pattern now from the main riff. But we're just doing it with these 3 notes on the 3rd string. And instead of now that, coming to the note on the 5th string, we're going to be here the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. All right, then do the pattern again. Now instead of just at the 3rd fret, we're going to play 5 and 3 on the 2nd. All right, so that's the 2nd time through it. Now the 3rd time through it, just like the 1st. All right, and then the 4th time through, we're going to do this. So that is, so we just basically did it once, that little shape. And when we get to that 4th, we kill it, then we hit 2 on the 3rd, then over to 2 on the 4th string, hold that note, then come up to the 5th fret on that same 4th string, little harmonics on the notes now, over to the 5th fret on the 3rd string, over to the 5th fret on the 2nd. All right, you probably recognize that in the song. And then we have slight bend and release at the 5th fret here. Pick 3 now on the 2nd string, and then pull off from 5 to 3, and play the 4 twice on the 3rd string. All right, and that takes us back to the chorus towards the end of the song, the familiar riff. And over that riff, you will hear that intro kind of solo again, but this one's going to be a little bit different. You remember the intro solo we did? This one's going to be slightly different. A lot of it's going to be the same though, so it should be quick to learn. So we have so all that we already know from the first one, except instead of ending like this on that last bend, we're going to do the same bend on the note, and then we're going to grab the 15th fret on the 2nd string underneath it. That little country line here, and repeat it a few times. So instead of, it's just, okay, and then he goes back into that pattern again, okay, and just does it once. Then when he comes up here and goes, all right, so after doing this pattern once, let me play all what we got so far, this outro solo. All right, so you can see now we're up at this section here after doing this, basically starting over. We're up here at the 17th fret, 3rd string, then do a whole step bend to the 19, and grab that 20 that's on the 2nd string. Then pick 19 and bend it back, release it. Then we have 17 on the 3rd string, then down to 19 on the 4th. Then do a quick hammer on from 17 to 19 on that D string. And then we'll have some chords. And that's basically 17 on the 3rd, 18 on the 2nd. And then 17 across both of those 2 strings. Kind of resolving that. And then we have that. And that is the 17th fret, a half step bend up, and release it back down. You're going to need a lot of some sustain on that. All right, and then he'll do that note again. This is over all that drum activity, all the drum fills, getting ready to go into the outro of the song. that's in double time. And you'll also hear these, which is basically just dragging a guitar slide up the neck. Not really necessary to do, but you can do it if you want. Just drag your fingers up, but they actually have a slide on there. So just... And that leads us into the double time outro. Stay tuned for that.